I'm Kat Timpf, in for Greg on this special edition of Gutfeld.
You know Kat Timpf from Fox News. You've seen her quick wit and sharp commentary on Gutfeld. You might even follow her comedy career. But here's something that might shock you. This woman who never believed in marriage, who openly questioned monogamy, who swore she'd never have kids, completely changed her mind when she met one man. And the story of how it happened is nothing short of incredible. Let me take you on a journey through one of the most surprising love stories in the world of political commentary. Because trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see Kat Timpf in a completely different light. Picture this. It's 2020, and Kat Timpf is scrolling through Raya, the exclusive dating app where celebrities and public figures connect. She's not really looking for anything serious. Actually, she's pretty much convinced that marriage isn't for her. Then she sees a profile that catches her eye. Clean-cut guy, military background, works in finance. Everything about him screams different from the guys she usually dated. Her first thought? This probably won't work. He seemed too polished, too traditional, too far from her usual type. But something made her swipe right anyway. That simple decision would change her entire life. The man on the other end of that swipe was Cameron Frisha. Born on August 10th, 1986 in New York City, Cameron grew up in a world vastly different from Kat's. While she was developing her libertarian views and comedy chops, he was preparing for a life of service. Cameron attended Choate Rosemary Hall, one of the most prestigious boarding schools in Connecticut. There, he wasn't just hitting the books. He was captain of both the hockey and lacrosse teams, showing leadership qualities that would define his future. But here's where Cameron's story gets really interesting. After graduating from high school, he didn't choose the typical path of going straight into business or finance like many of his boarding school peers. Instead, he made a decision that would shape the next decade of his life. He enrolled at the United States Military Academy at West Point. Now, if you don't know much about West Point, let me tell you, it's not your average college. This place is legendary for producing some of America's finest military leaders. The training is brutal. The academic standards are sky high. Only the most dedicated make it through. And Cameron didn't just make it through. He thrived there. He continued playing lacrosse at the collegiate level and graduated with a bachelor's degree in science, earning his commission as an officer in the United States Army. What happened next is something that deserves so much more attention than it gets. Cameron became an Army Ranger. If you're not familiar with what that means, let me break it down for you. Army Rangers are the elite. They're the soldiers who get called for the most dangerous missions. We're talking about hostage rescues, raids in hostile territory, and special reconnaissance operations where one wrong move could mean life or death. The training alone tells you everything you need to know about who Cameron is. Ranger. School has about a 50% dropout rate. That means half the people who start don't finish. The first phase, called the Derby phase, can see up to 30% of candidates drop out. These aren't weak people giving up. These are strong, capable soldiers who simply can't handle the extreme physical and mental demands. Cameron made it through. And not only that, he excelled. In 2012, he was deployed to Afghanistan as a member of the 101st Airborne Division. Think about that for a second. While most people his age were worried about their career paths or paying off student loans, Cameron was in one of the most dangerous places on Earth, leading soldiers in combat operations. He served in various roles during his military career, including as an infantry platoon leader, company executive officer, executive assistant to the brigade commander, and assistant operation officer. Each of these positions required incredible leadership, quick decision-making under pressure, and the ability to keep calm when lives were on the line. But here's something that really shows you Cameron's character. When he left the military in March 2014, he posted something on Instagram that gives you a glimpse into his soul. He wrote about how his service had been both humbling and gratifying. He talked about the men he served with, calling them true American heroes. Then he mentioned 4 of his classmates from West Point who never got the choice to leave the Army like he did. Darren, Dimitri, John, and Tim had made the ultimate sacrifice. Cameron's words about these fallen soldiers show a depth of character that's rare. He said the country would forever be in debt to them. He thanked everyone he'd served with and added that if he had to do it all over again, He would sign up without hesitation. That's the kind of man Cameron Frisha is. Not someone who brags about his service, but someone who honors those who gave everything. After leaving the military, Cameron faced a challenge that many veterans know all too well. How do you transition from the structure and purpose of military life to the civilian world? Cameron found his answer in finance. He started with an internship at Bank of America, learning the ropes of investment banking. From there, he moved to Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith, working as a dealer. Today, Cameron works as a research associate at Coatue Management, a major investment management firm based in New York City that manages about $50 billion in assets. His job involves analyzing companies and industries to help make smart investment decisions. The discipline and analytical skills he developed in the military translated perfectly to the fast-paced world of finance. But let's get back to the love story, because this is where things get really interesting. When Kat and Cameron matched on Raya and started talking, Kat was honest about her skepticism. She'd been pretty vocal about her views on marriage. In fact, she questioned whether she even believed in monogamy at all. She wasn't looking for a boyfriend or a husband. She was actively against the whole concept. So what changed? Well, as they started spending time together, Kat noticed something different about Cameron. Despite coming from what she called a great family and having the boarding school background, he wasn't pretentious or stuck up. He was secure in himself. He was confident but not arrogant. He was calm and steady in ways that the guys she dated before weren't. More importantly, he didn't try to change her. He supported her career, even though it meant she'd be in the spotlight, while he preferred staying private. He made her laugh. He showed up for her consistently. And slowly but surely, Kat started to realize that maybe she'd been wrong about marriage all along. In August 2020, during an appearance on the Greg Gutfeld Show, Kat revealed her engagement in the most Kat Timpf way possible. She held up her engagement ring and announced that hell had frozen over. Her colleagues and the audience laughed, but there was something beautiful in that moment. Here was a woman who'd built her brand partly on being independent and skeptical of traditional relationships, and she was genuinely happy to be proven wrong. Their wedding took place on May 1st, 2021, and true to form, it wasn't your typical cookie-cutter ceremony. They kept it intimate with only about 30 guests. Fellow Fox News personality Lisa Kennedy Montgomery officiated the ceremony. Instead of traditional wedding march, Kat walked down the aisle to I Want to Grow Old With You by Adam Sandler from The Wedding Singer. At the altar, they had a neon sign that read, "Till Death," adding that touch of humor that's so characteristic of Kat. Kat wore a sleeveless lace gown from Kleinfeld and made the rare decision to take off her signature glasses for most of the day. One touching detail that many people don't know about is that her father's girlfriend gave her a bouquet charm to picture Kat's late mother, who had passed away in 2014. That small gesture meant the world to Kat, bringing her mother's memory into one of the happiest days of her life. But even their wedding had some unconventional guests. Their dog Carl and their cat Cheens were part of the ceremony, serving as ring bearers. Kat had adopted Cheens more than 13 years ago, but she and Cameron adopted Carl together in March 2020. The way Kat talks about these pets shows another side of her personality. She jokingly refers to Cheens as her son and posts about them regularly on social media. After the wedding, Kat opened up about how marriage had changed her. She told People magazine that falling in love with Cameron made her feel more free than she'd ever felt in her entire life. That might sound contradictory. How can committing to one person make you feel more free? But that's exactly what happened. She said she was excited to continue growing with him and having the best time doing it. And here's the really big shift. Remember how Kat had always said she never wanted kids and didn't understand why anyone would? Well, Cameron changed her mind about that too. She admitted that being with him made her feel like she could have his children. She said that maybe they'd probably do that in a few years. Well, those few years came faster than expected. On July 31st, 2024, Kat announced through a Fox News column that she and Cameron were expecting their first child. The announcement itself had some interesting timing. She found out she was pregnant the same day that former President Donald Trump was convicted on 34 felony counts. She heard the baby's heartbeat for the first time on the same day as President Biden's poor debate performance. Life has a funny way of mixing personal milestones with historical moments. Throughout her pregnancy, Kat was open about her feelings. She said she was both excited and terrified. She admitted she never expected to get pregnant, especially not naturally. This woman, who'd spent years saying she didn't want children, was now preparing to become a mother, and she was sharing the journey with her followers. But then something happened that nobody saw coming. On February 25th, 2025, Kat announced the birth of their son. But the announcement came with devastating news that shook everyone who follows her. About 15 hours before going into labor, Kat had been diagnosed with breast cancer. Let that sink in for a moment. Imagine being about to experience one of the most important moments of your life, bringing your first child into the world, and hours before it happens, you get a cancer diagnosis. The fear, the confusion, the overwhelming emotion of it all is hard to even comprehend. Kat handled the announcement with her characteristic honesty. She told her followers not to worry too much because her doctor said it was stage 0 and was confident it almost certainly hadn't spread. Stage 0 means the cancer was caught incredibly early, which is fortunate. But even with that reassurance, she was facing a double mastectomy while also adjusting to life as a new mother. A few days after the initial announcement, Kat posted a video thanking people for their support. She said it was obviously a really crazy, difficult, unexpected time, and she really appreciated all the kind messages. She was honest about how devastating the decision to have a double mastectomy was. She said she didn't take cutting off her breasts lightly, and as a general rule, she didn't think any woman does. But she was grateful to have access to brilliant medical minds who specialize in breast cancer. And this is where Cameron's true character really shone through. While Kat was dealing with having a newborn and preparing for cancer surgery, Cameron was right there beside her. On August 10th, 2025, which was Cameron's birthday, Kat posted a raw and emotional photo on Instagram that left fans in tears. The image showed Cameron holding Kat's hand from a hospital chair while she lay in bed with forward her arm and a monitor clipped to her finger. There was no filter, no attempt to make it look pretty. Just a husband being there for his wife when she needed him most. Kat's caption said it all. She wrote that Cam has shown her what love is through his actions, by showing up for her consistently, no matter what unimaginable difficulty life throws their way. She added that she would kill for him, but the rest of us could just wish him a happy birthday. Fans flooded the comments with support. One person wrote that Cam is what a real man is about, showing unconditional love. Another said they were so happy Kat found her life partner. The photo became one of the most powerful images Kat has ever shared, a reminder that behind every strong comeback is someone quietly holding your hand when it matters most. And here's the update that everyone was hoping for. In June 2025, Kat appeared on Gutfeld and shared that her surgery had successfully removed all of her cancer. The relief in her voice was palpable. After months of dealing with new motherhood and a cancer diagnosis, she could finally say she was cancer-free. Throughout this entire journey, Kat has credited Cameron for supporting her career by actively co-parenting with her. She's been vocal about the fact that if society wants women to consider motherhood, there needs to be more focus on encouraging men to become supportive partners like Cameron. It's not enough to tell women they should have kids. Men need to step up and share the load, and Cameron has been the perfect example of that. But there's even more to their story that might surprise you. After their baby was born, Kat and Cameron made an unusual living arrangement. They temporarily moved into the home of Greg Gutfeld and his wife Elena. Yes, you read that right. 2 Fox News families under one roof, both with newborns. Greg and Elena had recently welcomed their daughter Mira, and when they heard that Kat and Cameron were struggling to find a nanny and navigate the chaos of new parenthood, they extended an invitation. What started as a joke became reality when Kat and Cameron packed up their Brooklyn apartment and moved into Greg and Elena's spacious Manhattan brownstone. The arrangement turned into something like a sitcom. There were whiteboards in the kitchen tracking feeding schedules and diaper duty shifts. There were debates about which lullaby playlist was less soul-crushing after the 10th repeat. Greg reportedly read Baby Mira excerpts from Mark Twain and George Carlin books, convinced she'd appreciate sarcasm before solid food. Meanwhile, Kat recorded podcast ideas while folding onesies. The whole situation showed a beautiful side of friendship and community. Instead of trying to pretend everything was perfect or struggling alone, these two couples decided to face the challenges of early parenthood together. They joked about pitching their story as a reality show called Fox and Family, the Gutfeld Timpf Diaries. Now, let's talk about some other interesting facts about Cameron that don't get mentioned much. Despite being married to someone who's constantly in the public eye, Cameron maintains an incredibly private life. His last Instagram post was back in October 2022, where he wished Kat a happy birthday. He doesn't do interviews. He doesn't seek attention. He's content being the steady, supportive presence behind the scenes. But he does have one passion that he's vocal about on social media: lacrosse. Cameron's Twitter account is pretty much dedicated to discussing lacrosse games and players. Kat has jokingly complained on Twitter about having to compete for his attention when a lacrosse game is on. She once tweeted about finally arriving in Montana only to sit in a chair while her boyfriend ignored her to watch lacrosse on his phone. She ended the tweet thread with "pay attention to me" in all caps. It's these little glimpses of their real life that make them so relatable. They're not a perfect power couple with a perfectly curated image. They're real people with real quirks and real challenges. Cameron stands about 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighs around 143 pounds. He has dark brown hair and striking gray eyes. His lean physique comes from years of military training and staying active. His fashion sense is usually business casual or formal, reflecting a professional background in both the military and finance. As for their finances, while exact numbers aren't public, estimates put Cameron's net worth at around $4 million. That wealth comes from his military service, his career in finance, and smart investments. Kat's net worth is estimated at about $7 million, earned through her work as a television personality, columnist, comedian, and author. Her annual salary at Fox News is reportedly around $350,000, with additional income from podcasts, stand-up comedy, and her books. The couple has invested wisely in real estate. Kat purchased a $1.5 million two-bedroom apartment in Manhattan's Hell's Kitchen neighborhood back in 2019. Cameron bought a $3 million three-bedroom home in the Hamptons in 2021. They also own a condo in Miami and a house in Los Angeles. Their car collection is pretty impressive, too. Cameron drives a BMW, and he gifted Kat a $95,000 BMW X7. Kat also owns a Mercedes E-Class and a Range Rover. And here's a fun fact: she frequently rents exotic cars on weekends. Over the past couple years, she spent over $150,000 renting Lamborghinis and Ferraris just for fun. But beyond the money and the cars and the real estate, what makes Kat and Cameron's story so compelling is the transformation it represents. Here's a woman who built her public persona partly on being skeptical of traditional relationships. She questioned marriage, questioned monogamy, questioned motherhood. She'd been through an abusive relationship in the past that left her wary of commitment. Then she met a man who was her complete opposite in many ways. Military background versus comedy and media, private versus public, traditional versus unconventional. And somehow, those differences didn't divide them. Instead, they complemented each other perfectly. Cameron showed Kat what real love looks like. Not the dramatic, passionate, unstable love you see in movies, but the quiet, steady, show up every single day kind of love. The kind of love that holds your hand in a hospital bed on his own birthday. The kind of love that supports your career even when it means living in the spotlight. The kind of love that makes you feel safer and freer at the same time. And Kat has been equally committed to their partnership. She's used her platform to honor his military service. She's spoken openly about how he's changed her for the better. She's shared their struggles with infertility, pregnancy, cancer, and new parenthood with honesty that helps other people feel less alone. Their story is a reminder that sometimes the person who's right for you is nothing like who you imagined. Sometimes a relationship that works is the one you never thought you wanted. Sometimes love means being willing to change your mind about the things you thought you knew for sure. As they navigate parenthood together, with Kat recovering from her surgery and both of them adjusting to life with a newborn, their bond seems stronger than ever. They're not just surviving the challenges. They're facing them as a team with humor and honesty and unwavering support for each other. So the next time you see Kat Timpf on Gutfeld making sharp political commentary or posting something funny on social media, remember there's a whole other side to her story. There's a husband who served his country with honor and now serve his family with the same dedication. There's a love story that changed both of their lives in ways they never expected. And there's a reminder that sometimes the best things in life are the ones we never saw coming. If you enjoyed learning about Kat Timpf and Cameron Frisch's incredible journey together, make sure you hit that like button right now. Seriously, it helps more than you know. Drop a comment below telling me what surprised you most about their story. Was it Cameron's military background? The fact that Kat completely changed her views on marriage? Their temporary living situation with Greg Gutfeld? I want to hear what you think. And here's the most important part. Subscribe to this channel and turn on that notification bell so you never miss another video. We're constantly bringing you the untold stories, the surprising facts, and the real truth about your favorite personalities. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Hit that subscribe button now, and I'll see you in the next video.